it is Lieutenant George from the Sheriff's Office. And Lieutenant, I'm supposed to tell you that there's Mr. Bill Hughes in the back that's paying attention to you and watching your tone.
Wow. Should I say I'm scared? Anyway, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Philip George, Lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office. I've been around Mountain Hills House here for 6 or 7 years as a sergeant, now as a lieutenant. So any issues that come up with Mountain House as far as law enforcement, you can call me direct. You can call the 468-4400 number. Ask for me. My direct line is 468-4150. Go straight to my desk. I return all calls. I try to do it the same day. So if you have any questions, issues, anything come up. Before I get started on our stats here, I want to actually introduce a couple of people. If Bill Hughes would stand up, and Sid Miller. Hey, these two folks run our abatement program and our neighborhood watch. Right? For those of you not involved in the neighborhood watch in Mountain House, get involved. You don't really have to do much other than be eyes and ears of the community. And they can help you set up a neighborhood watch in your community if you don't have one, or they can hook you up with the existing neighborhood watch so you get on the email blast and stuff so you know what's going on in your area. With that, Deputy Justin Ward is here. If you don't know him, Justin, please stand up. He's one of the Mountain House deputies that's assigned permanently here to Mountain House. He's also a EOD technician for our bomb squad. So if you have any fireworks that's illegal or anything, don't show him. Right? He's going to take them away from you. With that, if you by chance picked up this crime prevention tips in the back, if you didn't pick one up, please do before you leave, because in here is quite a bit of information. Besides the crime prevention tips and stuff, when you get to the back, the last page, it has all the phone numbers of who to call. So whether it's code enforcement, environmental health, public works, neighborhood watch, graffiti problem, or if you want to volunteer for STARS, okay? If you're 50 and older, you can volunteer for STARS. After you get through the training program and stuff, you can then work in Mountain House as a STAR so you can patrol your own neighborhood. Okay? It's a program that Sheriff Moore supports 300%. It works great for our communities. They do a fabulous job. The other item on this last page is the Sheriff's website. So if you want crime statistics that you want to go on anytime, other than a community meeting and get one of our crime stats, if you want to go on and see what's happening in your community, that is updated monthly. Okay, with that, I want to mention National Night Out is coming August 6th, first Tuesday there. So, like I say, if you're not a part of it, you want to get out and meet your neighbors, or maybe you just want to go out and get some free food. Mountain House puts on quite a bit of good parties. I try to make every one of them that Mountain House has. So I'll come out and harass you, give you a bad time, but I'd like to see everybody out there this year. And with that, going to crime stats. These were passed out earlier. If you didn't get one, there's still some at the back of the room there. One thing I want to bring up is the Wickland area here is the only program or only development that has the rural mailboxes. And there have been some mail thefts lately that was brought to my attention by the Mountain House staff, actually. I alerted the deputies to be a little more vigilant during this time. They ended up arresting a couple of suspects in the mail theft. The reporting parties, the victims that we had, could not identify them by face that these were the ones that stole the mail, but they had a bunch of warrants for their arrest, so they did go to jail on the warrants. We have identified them as possible suspects in these mail thefts, so if they start up again, we know at least we're one place to look. With that, the crime stats for Mountain House. If you've not looked at one of these before, I'll give you a brief explanation how it works. On the second page, the box on the left-hand side of the page is calls for service that the sheriff's office responds to. All right? The box on the right is actual written reports that the sheriff's deputies have taken in Mountain House. And you'll see the numbers differ a little bit because the deputies will get out to, let's say, Bob's house here, and he says his camera was stolen because he films everything. And he finds out that his wife actually just hid the camera from him, and there was really no theft. So we responded to the call, but realized it was actually not a crime, so we wouldn't actually take a report on that. But it is documented in our CAD system as a call for service. As you go down the column on the left there, you'll see the two highest is disturbing the peace and suspicious persons. Disturbing peace calls, no matter where you live, are going to be high because the kids with their stereos, from lawnmowers to parties that go on, when the parents are away or whatever. And, we call, the citizens call, we respond out. It's a high volume call for us. The suspicious persons one is actually a good one. We want that really high. That means you folks are calling us saying, this person doesn't belong in my neighborhood. And we want that. Okay? That gives us our probable cause to stop that person that you described, male, 6'8", probably, black shirt, blue jeans, walking down the street, he doesn't belong there. Right? That gives us reason to stop and say, hey, do you belong here? Are you visiting? It gives us a reason to make that contact. We want that. You guys want that. We need that from you. You are our eyes and ears. And it gets the deputy who may be over in the Cuesta area, now over to the Wicklund area because of the suspicious person. So now you have that deputy in your area, so your area is a little bit safer than Cuesta was a few moments ago. So please call. Don't stop calling. We want all the calls. Other than that, there's any questions or anything for the end, I will be here till after the meeting and until you quit asking questions. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Sheriff Steve Moore.
Well, good evening, everybody. I am your sheriff, your coroner, your public administrator, your animal services director, and director of airport security. So I get to wear many different hats in this process. I always enjoy coming out here. It's always a great time. A little bit about the office. This is our second year in a row that we have not had a cuts budget. We have a status quo budget, so we're not losing any more staff. There will be some minor increases in staffing and some additional programs, but we're holding our own. So as the county continues to move forward and recover from the economic disaster that we've survived the last 3 to 4 years, things will get better and things are getting better. It's just trying to broaden and build the base. So far, we have had great success out here. As it continues to grow and Mountain House becomes the community it was fully designed to be, we expect to be working with you to provide that level of service that you desire. With that, we will continue to work with the CSD, with the general manager, and all of you. My phone number is 468-4310. So at any point in time, you don't feel you're getting the level of service or the quality of service that you feel is desired by your community being provided through the contract, you need to let me know because I can't fix something if I don't know it's broken. So I'll be more than happy to respond to those and take care of that. Lastly, Mr. Terrell, who is representing Supervisor Elliott, did bring up the fact that next Tuesday we will be discussing the new jail facility. For those of you that don't know, we were successful in 2008 in obtaining an $80 million grant from the state, along with a set-aside that the county put together of $25 million for a total of $105 million to be able to build an additional 1,280 jail beds. The whole idea behind all of this was to be able to build enough jail beds so that we would have to be able to get out from under the court-ordered population cap and stop releasing people early. Right now, unfortunately, we still release people who are currently doing time, and right now the judge is keeping all of the 109 inmates. Those are all the inmates that are being sentenced to local time who would have gone on to state prison prior to October of 11. So at this point, we are still holding all of those, but in order to make room for them in the facility, the judges are allowing those persons that we would be holding normally in our facility out early. and in some cases, they're doing only 20% of their sentences. Now, anybody can tell you that if I'm only holding these people for a very small amount of time, I have absolutely no ability to train them, to rehabilitate them, to give them job skills, deal with their addictions, and do the other things like we need to do in order to try to cut our recidivism rate. Therefore, we believe the best solution is to go ahead and build the new facility. Also, most recently, the grand jury just released a report that indicated its support and direction that the facility be built and staffed. Now, we all realize that we can say, hey, we're going to build something and we're going to staff it, we're going to do all these things. But the truth of the matter is, if we don't have the money, we're not going to do it. And it can't be done at the expense of other programs and other county services. So next Tuesday, we will be presenting 3 alternatives to the board to be able to allow us to move forward with building that facility, which will give us the capacity in 3 years and be able to do it at a staffing level that will not cost the county extremely amount of money in 3 years, and in one case, possibly not cost the county any. But again, as sheriff, it's my job to bring forth the information. It's my job to go seek the grants, which we have done. It's my job to submit these proposals, which I am going to be doing. But it is the board's job, as your elected representatives and as the actual gateway keepers for your funds, and being able to make sure that they balance the county government to make sure it stays solvent. It'll be their final decision as to what takes place. So those of you that wish to express your concerns, you can express them to the full board. I can tell you that Supervisor Elliott is definitely on board. He looks forward to being able to build this facility. And if you have a different point of view, then you also need to express that to the board. That's what makes our country great, is to be able to hear both sides of the story and then be able to let our elected officials make those choices. I'll be here at the end if you have any questions, and thank you.